I got Lucas McGill here. Tommy Lepore here from Blue Springs South. Brett Moorfleet. Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast. Prep baseball talk powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com. Next week, we will be out, there it is, I'll spit it out momentarily, at the World Series. We've got Cardinal game on Wednesday night. We're going to be out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll have some live streaming. We'll pick some games. Schedule should be out here, I'd imagine, shortly, and we'll be picking games to feature on each of those days. We'll have some different age groups with culminating with the 14U on Sunday at the championship game. So check that out, game7baseball.com. Today, folks, on the show, we've been working on this for a couple of weeks, but to my right is the new head coach at McKendree University, Tim Gurnow. Tim, thanks for the patience, man.
No, thanks for having me.
We've had a little bit of some internet issues, and we missed it. We didn't even post a show. We didn't get a show in last week because of it. So, but we got him. We just got him in the studio. Yep. Made the trek. So we appreciate that very much.
So we opened up in 2019, and basically there was a void in the area. I mean, we saw that there was an opportunity to have a retail store where people could come in and actually touch and feel the tangible object that they're buying.
And just like that journey, here you are. You started out your baseball career, and I asked you that to start with. Did you ever think you would be sitting here, head coach? Was that in your mind?
Yeah. I mean, whenever I got into coaching, especially like my last year of playing, I knew I wanted to go into the coaching ranks. A head coach was always kind of the end goal. I didn't think it was going to happen at 28 years old, but it was always in the back of my mind of that was kind of the end goal at some point, leading up a college program. So excited for the opportunity I got at McKendree.
That is cool. I love that. Of course, I had met you back early on, 2017, 18. Yeah. My son was playing at Hannibal LaGrange. You were the starting catcher there, and so watching you play. I thought I really enjoyed watching you play. I thought you had a great grasp of the game. I thought you dealt well with pitchers, and you hit well too. Mm-hmm. So that's that. If you can hit, you can play, right?
Exactly. That's what we're known for at McKendree too. So I take that mindset, with our program as well.
And talk to us a little bit about your history. You're from the area here, and Festus grad, so give us a little background.
Yeah, I grew up in Festus, Missouri, then went to Festus High School and graduated in 2013, and they're the reigning state champs now in Class 5, so first time in school history, so pretty cool to see that. And my brother's a coach and I'm part of that program, so happy for him to finally be able to get that ring. He played and been through the program now on the coaching side, so after all these years he's got a ring, so happy for him, happy for that entire program. From there, went and played a couple years at the D2 level. Then I spent my last 2 years playing and graduated from Hannibal LaGrange. After that, I got into the coaching ranks. Actually worked full-time with the Recruits Baseball Club over here in the St. Louis area. Coached a couple other teams, did full-time lessons, and then decided I want to give college a shot. So I took a job at a D3 for a semester, basically spent their season with them there. Then after that, I got the graduate assistant job at McKendree, and I spent be going into my fifth year there, and the first year as a head coach. So been a little bit of a whirlwind. But.
Your experience with Recruits Baseball, you're starting instructing there and things of that nature. How do you think that set a foundation for you, moving into coaching that way?
Yeah, I owe a lot to Todd Stein and Dave Wiggins over there with the recruits. I played for them, and then they always just kind of kept me a part of the program. Then I was able to coach him while I was still in college, helped out Todd with some of the older teams, and then I would go and work full time with them. And they gave me basically full control, working with the catchers and then doing a lot of hitting lessons as well. And so I was able to learn a lot of different things, just kind of learn on the fly. I was very hands-on with everything, and I was a head coach of a 14U team with my first year, so a lot of good experience there. I was able to fail, make mistakes, but then also learn from it, and I was surrounded by great baseball minds. So I owe a lot to them in my coaching and playing career as well.
Yeah, Wiggins, he's done a great job with Webster Groves, and then he's got a 15U juggernaut, right?
They're pretty stacked. I've seen them a couple times. I know they've competed in like some 17U tournaments, and I think they might have won a 17U tournament a couple weeks ago. So, it's a great organization, and definitely owe a lot to them.
And I haven't seen the one young man, Hayden. I haven't seen him play. I've seen Brendan Pyle because he's over here at Zumwalt East, and he's pretty for real.
Yeah, they're pretty loaded with some young talent.
That's always it. Always makes it. You still have to coach, and I think that's where sometimes And question. This is kind of maybe here off the beaten path a little, but not really. But I always look at when you're managing coaching in that respect. Now, I think it's a little different at the younger ages and whatnot, and you're still instructing in those respects. But when you start getting into college and whatnot, I think it's a matter of communication and managing the relationships. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of these guys, talent, and you're still developing your talent there, but they have talent. That's why you're bringing them there, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely having that communication, having those relationships is key. That's the first step, right? Like, that's the foundation you got to set. So we really start that, too, like, in the recruiting process. Basically, like, if it's a pitcher, our pitching coach is heavily involved. If it's a hitter, obviously, I'm very involved. So we develop that relationship before they even get on campus, and it just really makes the buy-in easier, from day one. And then, like, after that, you have the relationship set. And like you said, like, they have the talent. So I'm never teaching a guy, like, hey, this is how you swing a bat, this is how you throw a ball. So our key really as a coach staff is to create a good learning environment for them, to set them up to fail, challenge them, but then, like, let's learn from it, things like that. So more than anything, I would consider, myself and our coaching staff more of environment builders than necessarily, swing coaches or, stuff like that. So it's definitely, building the relationship, communicating, and then let's put them in an environment to let them learn and grow.
Because I do think, when you get into college or, even professional and whatnot, there is a air of, or a thought process of accomplishment, right? You're bringing them to the school because you see in them some accomplishment. These people are at the top of the high school ranks. As always, I understand, there's different levels as always, but yet you're bringing guys that you believe have a certain amount of accomplishment. So then I think it's interesting when you think about that. I love the way you put that. You put them in an environment that helps them continue to grow, and the conversations, the talking. How can we help each other continue to grow and have success?
Right. Yeah, and that's, to go along with the environment too. It gets to a point where especially like late in the season, I don't want to have to really do much talking. at that point, to where it's very player driven. Our offense, they're all talking, communicating with each other, so I can just kind of sit back, and just go watch them play and have fun and play with that freedom. And I think that's something, especially in offense, these last couple of years that we've excelled at. And so I'm excited to continue building it program wide at this point.
I like that thought process, because I think sometimes you can. I've been around coaches a lot, and my brother-in-law, he had an opportunity to play minor league baseball and whatnot, and he's coached a lot, and he had a team that in Legion back in 2009 with a AA squad that won the regional tournament in Emporia. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is he gave these guys the opportunity, hey, get up there and swing the bat. Yeah. You know how. Go up there, if you see a pitch you like, do it. I think the opportunity in what you said there, you watching these guys not have to do a lot of talking. We've done all that. We know what our approach is. We know what our things are. Take and apply that in a game, right?
Yeah. And kind of going back, where these guys have talent, they're at the Division II level for a reason. So it's, again, just how do we get the most out of them? And I think a lot of times, especially young players, the fear of failure holds a ton of guys back. And so that's where, again, going back to the environment, I want to build it to where they are challenged, they're going to fail in practice, and then communicating that, hey, that's okay. This is our success, and really defining the success. And it's not always hitting 10 straight line drives, right? if we're working on something, right, that's your success. So making sure they can get past that fear of failure. So then whenever the game happens, that's when especially I can just be very hands off, and it's just, hey, let's go play, let's have fun, and then give them that freedom. Even something on the offensive side, I don't give a lot of signs to where I want the guys to just go play. If they feel like they have the pitcher timed up and they can swipe a bag, go do it. Right. And give them that freedom. 3-0, hey, I'll give you the green light. If it's right there, middle, you take your best swing at it, we'll see what happens. So again, giving that kind of freedom to play their game and not being so micromanaged to where then it can hold them back on the field.
I believe that creates confidence. Mm-hmm. I really do. I love that approach. Your hitting experience, you were good in college. You've evidently had success, because I was looking at some information, reading the article that the school put out when they hired you as the head coach. You set some records in 2022. What were they?
So McKendree's actually only been Division II for about 10 years now.
Okay.
So we were very successful in the NAIA in the early 2000s. So that's where a lot of our school records come from. We've basically set every single Division II era record these last 2 seasons. So from batting average, home runs, walks, on base percentage, stolen bases, basically set them all. 2 years ago, our biggest records that we set are school records. So we beat even the NAIA era. We hit 95 home runs in 47 games. So we actually averaged over 2 a game, which was a lot of fun to watch, and made my job real easy to where I can just sit back and just give a bunch of high fives and say, hey, good job, right?
Watch guys round the bases.
Yeah, exactly. But I had really good players that year, but we really clicked as an offense, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And this past year we didn't set the record, but we still hit 64 in 48 games. So we were still top 30, I believe, in all Division II. So we've swung it the last couple of years, and it's been, like I said, a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to work with the guys that I have as well.
So as you're taking the reins as a head coach, you've made your bones offensively in that respect. So now recruiting as a whole and looking at the program as a whole, you've been a catcher. You were a catcher, actually. So you have an understanding of what pitching is. Yeah. What does that mean for you now, taking the reins as an overall look at the program, defensively, pitching? What are the thoughts as the program moves forward? How do you want to develop those things?
Yeah. So, whenever we recruit, we want to be strong in the middle of the field. I think that's a pretty generic way to put it for basically every program, right?
Sure.
So, need a good catcher. We recruit middle infielders and know that they can, kind of float wherever we need them from there. And then same with the center fielder. I'm going to take approach with the recruiting of, hey, we're going to look for one tool. So I look on the hitting side. Can they swing it? They have physicality, bat to ball skills, things like that. Is there one tool that we can really develop? And then once they get into the program, it's again taking kind of an offensive view of making training game-like, challenging them, changing the environment. So doing that on the defensive side. Getting a lot of reps, off the bat live. I'm still young enough now to where I can grab a bat and I can hit some front toss and put it where I want to. So giving them those live reps. Same with the pitchers. I have a great pitching coach in Logan Moose. Making sure that he has every resource they need for the pitching side to get them ready. But again, just making it as game-like as possible and wanting athletes on the field. I think once they're athletes, it basically solves a lot.
I think it's interesting. Logan Moose, I've been aware. I didn't know who he was before, but we work with the American Legion, Missouri American Legion. Russ Clicker is running the Metro League team over there, and they started off a little slow, but their pitching is really, and he's been part of that, and their pitching has really got them back into, and they started putting together wins and whatnot. So I think that's interesting, and so his approach to pitching evidently works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, when you're bringing guys just in the summer of all these different places, and it shows, I think, an impact when all of a sudden everything starts rolling in that direction and starts putting wins. How do you see, and your talent level now, and what are you looking at in that future with the pitching side of it?
Yeah, our big thing, where we kind of had our struggles is that we just didn't throw hard enough. To where velocity is a big thing. I don't ever think it's the end all be all, but it gives you a lot more room for error.
Sure.
That's what we're looking for, and it's not necessarily even like a high school kid. Like, hey, maybe you're only topping out at 85, but you're 140 pounds, and we can get you, in the weight room and develop you, right? That's kind of where we're looking is, do you want to have the velocity? And if you don't, is there room to grow? Is there that projectability? Because that's where Coach Moose, he's great at developing the velocity part of it, but then also getting the most out of each pitcher of what they're good at. So if their breaking ball is their best pitch, I wouldn't be surprised if some guys throw their breaking ball 70-80% of the time. It's their best pitch, so let's utilize the best pitch as much as possible.
I see a lot of kids in high school that don't have the velocity, if they're in the high 70s, low 80s, but they're great with a slider or a change. They're pitching backwards. Yeah. And even a top tier, we were watching Kenton Deverman, who's going to Evansville, at Zumwalt West. He pitched backwards all the time. Yeah. He would start you off with that breaking pitch, and then you were done from there because, and he would throw it for a strike. And then it's like, what am I going to get next? I don't know.
Yeah. There's definitely different ways to be successful, on the mound, everywhere on the baseball field.
Yeah.
And then again, it's our job as coaches to find what's going to make you the most successful, and then how do we get the most out of you? So kind of going back to recruiting, right? Like, what's that one tool? If your one tool is velocity, great. If it's your breaking ball, great. And then let's expand on that and, make it kind of the go-to pitch or, whatever it may be.
Yeah, if you're 88 to 90, you got to develop that off speed to make that more effective, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think it's interesting. I love what you said there because I know velocity is the thing, and I get it. But I see so many kids that are in that low to mid 80s range that are really effective. I saw a 14-year-old pitching for Midland. He had a decent fastball for his age, but what made it better is I hadn't seen a 14-year-old with that much run on a slider.
Yeah.
It was breaking 6-7 inches, and just kids couldn't catch up with it.
Yeah.
So I think that is interesting, and that's the one tool. You got that pitch. How can we work to develop the others?
Yep, exactly.
And so the art of pitching, I think still needs to be. That's one humble man's opinion. But I do like it. And if you've got 88 to 90, then that makes it even better.
Right. Yep, no doubt.
Program development. I want to ask you, since we're talking about programs, we look at recruiting in these respects. I've never been to McKendree. I've known a couple kids that have gone there. In fact, Hayden Vaughn, a kid that played for me, he went to McKendree, played ball there. What is it about the program itself? And we talk about facilities, we talk about opportunities within the program itself. How does McKendree set themselves, apart from the other schools, even just within the GLVC?
Yeah, we have a beautiful campus, and it's located in Lebanon, Illinois. So it's a little bit of a smaller town, but we're only 15 minutes away from O'Fallon. 30 minutes away from downtown St. Louis. So we're very, honestly kind of centrally located to a lot of bigger areas. So we recruit St. Louis, obviously, but we've gone up to Chicago quite a bit, even a little bit up in Michigan, Southern Illinois, and the Carbondale area. So it's a really good location to recruit, just because there's a lot of schools around us.
Right.
So, McKendree itself offers a lot to where basically anything you're going to need to get better, we're going to have. And not even just on the baseball side, but our weight room is probably one of the top in our conference, if not all Division II. We have a full-time strength coach, which is big time. Takes a lot of pressure off of the rest of the coaching staff, to where, we kind of hand him the reins and say, make our guys more explosive and get us stronger. So that's a huge perk. We have an indoor facility that is all turf. We have a full infield in there, so we can do a ton of live at-bats, ground balls, all that stuff. And especially being in the Midwest, you need a place like that in the winter. So, we're lucky to have that. And then we're a small campus. So, on the academic side, we have small class sizes, which I think is great. And we're a very athletically driven school as well. We have 37 school-sponsored sports. So about 75% of our student population are athletes, which is really, really unique at the NCAA level. But it's an awesome atmosphere. You get to meet people that play all sorts of different sports. We have ice hockey teams, we have a rugby team, bass fishing, bowling. So it's a really cool dynamic, and obviously having so many sports, you get them from all over the world that all come together on campus, and having such a tight-knit community is awesome as well.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I love the fact that the population, because it's not a big school, I'm sure, and as far as population, because, Division II, nature of it.
Yeah.
But I love that thought process of the small class. I think those are interesting things. And, one of the things that I always like to reiterate, and the guru, Mr. Kevin Mulder, talks about it all the time. He says, look, he said, think about when you're going to a school, would you go there if you weren't playing baseball? Right. And I think that's, there has to be that other part of this, because as well as I do, there's the opportunity always, but where are you going that is a good fit for you educationally? Because many of these kids won't go on to play professional baseball, right?
Yeah, it's all about fit. And I experienced that firsthand, where I, went to a couple different schools, and the level's important, I think, to some people, and obviously everybody should have the D1 goal, and I think that's great, and obviously everything's kind of changed with the transfer portal now, but finding the right fit is definitely the most important. Where are you going to enjoy your time? I knew, I wasn't going to go play professional baseball, so it got to the point of where am I going to go make an impact, get developed, get my degree, what's going to set me up for my future and get me in the best position there. So I definitely think, that's definitely the most important. Where am I going to get developed? Where's the right fit? Do I mesh with the coaching staff? If you're not happy, it doesn't matter what level you're at. It's not going to be enjoyable.
I love that thinking. And kids, parents, 9 to 12U, don't think about college, right?
Yeah.
Think about high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, no. I think it's important to enjoy where you're at, to I mean, just keep guys playing the game too. That's the most important, especially at those young ages, where you're going to have fun, enjoy the game, and then continue to play as you get older.
Because what you just said there, I think is a lesson, Tim, and because we try to reiterate that with our podcast, because I tell parents we got tryouts coming up, right? For youth baseball, and then the course I still call it youth baseball because I know it's high school, but it's still the same thing.
Right.
And how many parents are out there vetting a program? The recruits, for instance. I know Dave Wiggins. I think Dave is a good guy. I know what he does with his program. But that doesn't mean that everybody fits within that same program.
Yeah.
Todd Stein, those guys. Go talk to those guys. What's your thought process? Where do you see? And will you accept an honest evaluation of your child, of your son, within that program?
Yeah, and that makes my job easier too at the college level. Because if you get to the college level and you've never really been told no or anything like that, it gets tough, and it's kind of a reality check. So I think it is important to start that at the high school level, the travel ball, or different organizations of being honest, right, and then finding the right fit. I love the recruits. I'm probably a little biased to them.
That's fine.
And I think they do a really good job. But at the same time, like you said, it's not the right fit for everyone, and that's okay. Same with the college level. McKendree's not the right fit for everyone,
right.
and that's okay. I want the guys that are the right fit for our program, that are going to enjoy their time there. And it goes down to high school and travel ball as well. It's all the same.
And I want people to understand that isn't just something to say, right fit. It's not just something to say. There's a reality to those things. And even because we talk about, and I want people to understand, see, because you're paying to go to college, okay, and you might get some scholarship money, and things of that nature, but you're still going to pay for that. That doesn't give you I'm coming here, I'm going to play. Well, maybe.
Right.
You still have to earn it. And I think that's something that I think we have to get back to a little bit. Folks are paying money to the clubs. Well, that gets you in the club, but that doesn't earn you the right to play baseball. You still have to go earn it, right?
Yeah, 100%. And that's I tell every guy I have on a visit that we don't guarantee playing time, anything like that. And I don't care if it's a grad transfer that's been in college for 5-6 years now, or if it's a true freshman. If you're the best guy at the position, you're going to help me win. That's what I'm going to put out there.
There you go. And I think the more that people hear that, take those things seriously. When you're at 9, 10, 11, and 12, go play where you fit, where your son's going to have a good time, and where he's going to get developed. Talk to the coach. Even if you maybe go 15-15 and you got better that year, isn't that what it's about at 9, 10, 11, 12?
Absolutely. And I think that's something the recruits do a really good job of. And even whenever I was coaching the organization, that it's not always about the overall record or winning trophies necessarily, but it's where am I going to get challenged, where am I going to play the best competition, and then get myself better to set myself up for success. Going to the college level and so on. And I think that's definitely the most important. Should be the biggest focus in the travel and youth baseball scene.
Absolutely, Tim. I wish you great success. I mean, I say that to most everybody because, I enjoy, I wish the success. No, not everybody can win all the time, but, I wish you success. I really do. I think I'm looking forward to watching you over the next little bit and hopefully get you back on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to.
Absolutely. So, well, maybe we'll get over. You guys have, do you guys broadcast your games?
Yeah.
The GLVC does.
GLVC Sports Network, yep. So all of our games are streamed through there.
Sweet. I'm going to have to get in there and start watching more.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you ever want to come over, we can set you up too over at the stadium.
Sweet.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Because I like that because I saw Coach Ewell.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, he was out at the PBR event we were live streaming, and we've had him on the show, and I like Coach Ewell. I think he's a nice guy, and So I love the fact of getting to know and building these relationships and talking. But thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Folks, Tim Gurnow, head coach, McKendree University. So thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. If you like what we're doing, take a moment, hit the subscribe button right there. That'll get you subscribed to YBMcast. Next to it is the dinger, because that's what we do around here. Hit that dinger, right?
Absolutely,
Hit dingers,
yep.
baby. 95 of them. We're hoping for more than 95
Oh
of them.
yeah, let's get those triple digits here in the next couple of years.
So, and that will that'll get you all your notifications for upcoming episodes. We do appreciate it very much. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. Always remember, pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and hitters, any advice for the hitters?
Keep hitting doubles and bombs.
There you go. I love it. We'll see y'all next time.